All right. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for joining this live stream today. A little different topic, a little different style, but I'm hoping nevertheless quite interesting to everybody. We're doing a graph learning journey all of June together with June as our Neo4j certification month, and we have a couple of nice interesting events, and we're kicking it off this week with Adam Cowley, who is leading our GraphAcademy team. So hi Adam, how are you doing?
Hey, I'm very well, thanks for having me, Alex.
Thank you for joining. Thank you for doing all the great things you do together with your team on GraphAcademy. Before we went live now, I asked in chat if anybody already is enrolled in GraphAcademy, and then if they have any experiences. And I see a couple of chat messages already. D. Tyler, for example, says happily enrolled and already with 6 years with Neo4j. So I think he has done a couple of nice courses. Yuri says he hasn't done any courses so far, but he is using Neo4j for 9 years. So maybe
Wow.
the GraphAcademy platform is still something new where you can learn something new or find out something new. But yeah, maybe before we dive into that, maybe do you want to give the viewers a little background on who you are, what you do generally at Neo4j?
Yeah, sure. So I guess I edge Yuri a little bit, and I've been using Neo4j for about 10 years now, so it's just a little bit higher. So my job is basically to work on GraphAcademy. So my role at Neo4j is to teach people everything that they need to know to be successful with Neo4j. So before being part of the developer relations team, I was a member of the professional services team. So I did 3 years doing that, traveling all across Europe, teaching people how to use Neo4j. And then, transitioned into DevRel, developer relations from there. And yeah, I think for the last 3 or so years, so I think January 2022, I've been working as GraphAcademy as my sole focus.
Cool. Yeah. And I think you got lots of fans for that. I think it's a great learning platform, a great pathway into experiencing graph and getting your grips from an early start on, and also obviously also to deepen your knowledge in more advanced courses to eventually become a Neo4j certified professional, but also deepen your knowledge on developing applications, knowing how to work with Neo4j and LLMs or Gen AI, building knowledge graphs. So it's a pretty wide field. Since this is called an AMA, it's obviously the open invitation to everybody watching us live right now to post your questions. I think we are sharing this on our community forums as well. So if you are in chat there's a little button you can click on, and that says live chat, and you can ask your questions in there. If you're watching us on YouTube, obviously use the live chat that I'm seeing already now. If you're watching on Facebook or Twitch, you can do the same. And I can see your question. You can read them out, and we dive into those. So, anything goes. that's the fun thing, and we'll see how long we get questions. I had a couple of questions prepared. So while you type away, we can dive into those and see what's where it leads us in this conversation today, I think.
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, not interested. Not used to being interviewed, so it's going to be interesting to know what questions people ask me. I think it could be could be
definitely. Yeah, and it's anything around GraphAcademy, anything, but also beyond that, I think we can dive in today. The first question I kind of had is GraphAcademy is a bit of a unique tool, I would say, a unique offering, because we and I say we, but you basically built it and decided to go with a known solution and to incorporate your background and to build up courses, develop new courses, help people find their way around GraphAcademy around Neo4j through GraphAcademy. And I was wondering how did this happen? What was the initial process? What was your vision back then, maybe, and how did it evolve across time?
Yeah, so GraphAcademy itself has been around for years. I think maybe 2017, maybe even before that. It's been around
Wow.
in some incarnation or another. So really, the journey started for me when I suppose when I was kind of transitioning out of professional services and into developer relations. And I guess for like the longest time, like I've always had the urge to write a technical book, you know, for O'Reilly or Pact or kind of thing. Um,
Mhm.
and as I was moving into developer relations, I spoke about this with Michael Hunger. So was my boss at the time, is now the VP of product innovation. And when he asked me why, I was trying to skirt around the fact that I wanted like a little tile on my Google search. I think that's probably what it boiled down to. And we spent a lot of time talking about the benefits of writing a book and the drawbacks of it, and everything has to be perfect straight away, and that's probably not my my strong point. So then he basically said, "Well, actually, we got this GraphAcademy thing. Like, why write a book when you can build a whole platform?" And
Hmm.
so I've been a developer. I built my first website. It's like solving problems. So without really thinking, I just thought like, okay, sure, let's go for it. And that was like January 2022, and it's been my sole focus um, since then, really. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
been there. Yeah, so I think
Cool.
from
Yeah.
there, it's just been a case of building out the platform and taking the experience that I have from my 10 years in Neo4j and converting that into something that other people can learn from.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's extremely helpful, and I think it's kind of like the success and the positive feedback we are getting. And I don't know if you can share a couple of numbers of how many people did take GraphAcademy courses and generally like that. But when we talk about this internally and we see the feedback we're getting, I think it's extremely positive, and I think that shows how coming from a feedback of actually teaching people or talking to users using the product and writing this into a course-like structure is not as easy as it sounds. And if you have that background, if you can do that, it is very, very much appreciated from the user's perspective. And I think Adam has a bit of a internet connection issue, which is unfortunate. I think I've just lost Adam. So I hope he can rejoin. Yeah, he just pinged me. He lost connection. So I'm hoping he'll be back in a second. I was hoping, and maybe I can switch over here while Adam is reconnecting. Let me get that in. Oh, here he is. I think Adam is back. Yeah.
Yes, sorry about that. I'm not quite sure
Yeah.
what happened. Sorry, where were we?
No, I was just saying that we had over the years we had very positive feedback from users on the GraphAcademy course, and I think it shows coming from your background shows that talking to users, talking to people who wanted to implement Neo4j from the professional side of things, and then taking that over. That is very much appreciated from everybody who wants to learn. That it is not just theoretical, it is practical. Is you get something out of it, you have something in the end. We can say, okay, yes, I know I understand something, I know I can take this on, and I can then continue from there. It's not just I read a couple of chapters in a book, or I do some hello world application, which is very theoretical. It is still not as relevant as it could be, but it's different here with the GraphAcademy courses.
Yeah, definitely. That's always been my intention as well, because I spent a few years traveling, all across Europe, teaching people how to use Neo4j and doing like a 5-day boot camp where you start off with people in the room that know nothing, and then at the end of the 5 days, you come out with maybe like a little POC or an MVP. And I was always very aware that when I was taking when I was actually performing the training, you could see the points where the people's eyes were kind of glossing over, or people go and they go and check their emails, and there was a lot of theory in the slides that I was delivering, and there was a mix of theory and hands-on, but it was definitely weighted towards one section. And you kind of like you've got to weigh up the experience level and the way that people learn for everybody in the room. And some people learn faster than others. Some people, there's always that the problems that you don't expect to happen. So yeah, I always found that when I was teaching Neo4j, the real moment where it started to click for people is when they started to see things on screen. They started to see the nodes and the relationships. And my favorite part was always like when you have a node and you double click on the node in Neo4j browser and then it expands. And that's like the wow moment, or like the graph epiphany. So my goal was to kind of get people to that as quickly as possible. And then to kind of build on that with hands-on challenges and make sure that you're doing. And there's kind of this mantra of like show, don't tell. I don't want to tell people what Neo4j is. I want to show them. I want them to see it for themselves.
Yeah. I think that's extremely important. We have a question that goes a little bit into that direction. Comes from Lee Tyler, and they ask, and where is it now? I scrolled over it. Is here? How much of a long-term commitment is there from Neo4j to support education or to support this kind of learning path through GraphAcademy, I guess?
Yeah, so I mean, we're kind of lucky that we have a CEO in the company that is very is a champion for developers. So everything we hear is, we are developer first. We don't win big deals from the top down. We go bottom up, and we win the developer experience. And from that point of view, I've always felt really supported with the want to do with GraphAcademy, with the education. So that starts at the very top, and then I've always had supportive managers who've been have known that education is important. And I think there's kind of two myths really that we need to we as Neo4j need to bust. Firstly, the Neo4j is hard to work with, or there's like this learning curve. And also there's this whole Neo4j doesn't scale thing. Okay, so if you try and use a graph database like a relational database, it's not going to perform as well. So there are things that you need to know. And I think, like, most importantly, if from a company point of view, if people don't know how to use Neo4j, they're not going to use us. And if they hit any one of those two barriers, then they're instantly going to go somewhere else. So from that point of view, it's always been my belief that we should be offering free training. And like throughout the company, I think that's the kind of message that I've been given as I've been carrying through this job.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I think that's very important to keep stating that we are taking care of that. We want to keep that going, and we want to be constantly adding new courses. I think over the past, especially about the past years, lots of courses have been dramatically updated. Lots of new courses have been added. So this is a constant flow of maintaining, updating, adding new courses. I think, and we can share this as well. I think it's a small team, not just you working at GraphAcademy now. So I think the commitment is definitely important to us.
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah.
I mean, speaking of courses, I think it would be interesting to see how could you share maybe a bit of an insight. How is it generally going? What is the path from maybe first ideas to, okay, something should become a GraphAcademy course? What is a worth of a GraphAcademy course? How is that process going on, and then how is it built? How do you make a GraphAcademy course, basically?
Yeah, I think it's a topic that I wrestle with on a daily basis, really, because there's like every day there seems to be a new topic, especially now with like the rise of generative AI. like there are all these new frameworks, there are new concepts popping up, and like we really need to be careful about how we spend our time, and we need to be teaching kind of Neo4j concepts and about Neo4j rather than just jumping on the latest trend. But if I take a kind of step back as to how the kind of platform was put together in the first place, my my kind of goal and my ethos is to kind of teach people what they need to know, and everything as well is built on top of Neo4j. So everything from the actual platform itself, which is built on top of a Neo4j or a database, and every time you attempt a lesson, every time you enroll to a course, a node or a relationship is added to a database. But not only that, the curriculum is also driven by Neo4j as well. So when I first put the new version of the site live in 2022, 2023 time, I spent a lot of time working with the docs team. And what I did was take the user journeys of visitors to the website, and then people that have been here for or been in the Neo4j ecosystem for a long time may remember the little pop-ups that came up in the bottom right hand corner, which was what is your experience level, what is your job role, and then I use that combined with the actual the browsing data to work out, okay, so for a beginner data scientist, they look at these resources, or an experienced app developer may look at these resources, and that really built the curriculum from scratch, and that's still the core of what we have today. So what I found there was the four key things that everyone needed to know. So firstly, like the fundamentals of Neo4j. So what is a node, what is a relationship, how do they fit together? Then you need to learn a little bit of Cypher. So you need to learn how to query the graph, find patterns in the data. You need to model the data in the correct way. So what should be a node, what should be a relationship, what should be a property, and then once you have that, okay, so how do I get the data into Neo4j? So those are the first four courses that we have on GraphAcademy. And from there, you then branch out into your path. So everything that is there is powered by user behavior, the journeys that people have taken through the website, and what they've told me they are looking for at a particular point during their journey. From there, I put a lot of courses up in.
And it looks like we lost Adam again. So sorry about this. So I think we have a bit of a technology issue on this afternoon with the connection, Wi-Fi connection, I guess, from Adam or something else. Let me switch over here while he's trying to reconnect again. Obviously, I want to talk about the next stream. So if you're interested in watching more, tomorrow is another one where we talk about RushDB. It's interesting as well from the perspective of building with GraphAcademy. Yeah, here it's back. Okay, Adam is back.
I got the developer console open in my in my browser, and I can see that. I'm not going to name and shame the streaming platform, but I can see an error in the console that says that it's missing a cookie. I'm not quite sure what's going on there, whether I need to switch to Chrome, but we'll persevere. So yeah, sorry. So we were talking about the curriculum, right? I basically put together a skeleton curriculum that I kind of called it at the time, with courses that are in draft. And then users can register their interest for the courses. So either users that registered on the website, or so people that haven't actually registered yet, they can put their email address in, and then they kind of bookmark the course. And that has really been how how we've been building the curriculum out from there. So I put some kind of courses up online, and then we see when we come to the end of a course, we see, okay, so what's the next popular thing that people are asking for, ordered by the number of people that have registered interest in the course, and that's how we decide what comes next.
Cool. That's very interesting. Speaking of what comes next, I think we have one question via the community forum. Comes from BPS DW, and they ask, "Hey Adam, I'm just curious what the expected timeline for the Python MCP course becoming available is."
Yeah,
very specific.
is your name Stephen Chin, and are you the VP of developer relations? Because that's a question I'm getting quite a lot. Yeah, so it's I can't give you a definitive date. It could be it could be weeks, could be months. It's going to be in the next few weeks, hopefully. But yeah, what we're looking to do in that course is to firstly show, to describe what MCP is, show off some of the tools that we have, things like converting a text to cipher, reading and writing cipher statements, and then showing you how to build your own MCP tools on top of Neo4j. And I think that the MCP course is an interesting one, going back to that question of how do we decide what goes into GraphAcademy. So I'm spending a lot of time at the moment wrestling with what should actually be in that course. What should we demonstrate, and what is that scope? What should we be teaching, and what should we leave to the GenAI community at large?
Yeah, I think that's a tricky one, and I think you hinted at that a little bit earlier when you said what technology should be focusing, especially nowadays when every day a new GenAI, AI, whatever stack appears, some new tool, some new hyped up thing that everybody is looking at and thinks, oh, new shiny thing, I want to do something there, and then you realize, okay, well, some of this is really great, some of this might really change things dramatically. Other things might be gone as quickly as they have appeared again. So that is hard. So I know. How do you see that? How do you, especially from a point of, you need to develop a course that is not it should stay up at least for a while. If you decide to pick something that is then irrelevant in 3 months, it was probably not worth the work. Especially in Gen AI, this must be tricky, I would assume. Or with a flaky internet connection, it must be tricky to ask questions. Oh, Adam is back. Let's see, we have 2 Adams now. Let's get rid of the other one. Oh, here we go.
I've now switched browser, so let's see if that works. Yeah. So
did you hear my question?
I think I know where you're going, but
okay.
Feel free to interrupt me in my answer if I'm getting it wrong. But yeah, I think because what we teach.
You're breaking up a little bit, Adam.
Okay, there's the challenge of the.
Yeah.
Okay, let's try that one. So
yeah, thank you.
This is the benefit really of kind of living and breathing what you teach as well. So in my research for a course on, for example, MCP, I'll spend a lot of time researching. I'll spend a lot of time building out, and then I'll work out what is useful, what isn't, what is hype, what is fluff, and what is actually useful. So for example, if we're looking at the kind of concept of MCP, okay, so where is that separation between a tool in an agent and an MCP server that you can connect to? What is the scope of those things? That's kind of what I'm tackling at the moment. But yeah, I think because we have a platform that's built on Neo4j, it's a considerable size database. We've got I think is it 32 million nodes in the database. So, and we've got things like we've had a chatbot on the very first kind of iteration of the kind of vector indexes that we were using, and we're kind of working out what fits there. How does that work? We have the opportunity to experiment with our own platform, with our own database, and actually see what works, what doesn't, and also to work out if we're going to struggle with it, then our users are going to struggle as well. So that it also gives us that kind of real time feedback loop, and actually gives us an indication of what we should be teaching.
Yeah, I think that's it's a great observation. We sometimes something is very clear to you, and other people think, oh, why this? I don't get it at all. But if it is not clear to you in the first place, you probably should make sure that everybody else will understand what's going on.
Yeah.
So because you just mentioned it, people are struggling, people are having a hard time. How do you think, or what could be a good pathway of these? Getting feedback from people. So is there a way of saying, hey, I'd like a course on X, or hey, I'm having a hard time with this specific course. I don't understand the lesson, or I don't understand what's explained here. I'm feeling maybe this is too difficult, or this is not getting not clear enough for me to understand what really is the point of this. Is there a feedback form kind of where people can say, hey, please help, or please do this? And not that you will do it, but maybe just in general. And we lost him again. Oh no, he's back.
Good fun.
Okay. This is really not going well today. I'm really sorry, everybody, for this, but we'll go there.
Yeah.
So my question was, or did you hear my question?
Again, I think I know what where you were leading with the question. I didn't quite hear all of it, but yeah, I think this is where having a strong community matters. And we have a community forum, we have a Discord server where people can go and ask questions. And again, that's another thing that we monitor for. Where are people struggling? Where can we improve? What can we offer next? So yeah, I'd say definitely the first port of call, if there is something that you think is missing from the website, something you'd like to see in our course catalog, is to go into either Discord or Discourse and let us know.
Cool. Then there is another question here from D. Tyler, and they ask, if you were designing data science education at a university, where and how would you think Neo4j would fit in best in that?
Good question. I would say that I suppose it's the same. The same conversation I've had for years around when is it useful to use Neo4j and when is it not. I think it's finding a use case and a problem to solve that is either really difficult to solve in other technologies or is impossible to solve, and then having that kind of side by side approach to it. So I guess one of my favorite use cases of all time, one of my first use cases was like a transport one. So how do we get from A to B within a reasonable amount of time? So not only the shortest path in terms of number of nodes, but also the how can we use weighted relationships to kind of calculate distance and time, and provide like real-time routing between points. So I think it's finding a problem where the connections between data points is important as those data points themselves. And then you can either do a side-by-side comparison of this is how you do it in this technology, this is how you do it in that technology, this is how you do it in Neo4j, or just that this is this is what a graph is. This is what this is graph theory. This is how we use it to solve problems. I think that's probably where I would start, and pick a use case where it's hard or difficult to impossible to solve from another technology.
Cool, thank you. And because obviously the theme of this month is around certification, and with our events, I also like to ask a question on that. So if someone is looking at certification, is like looking at the exam that we have up on our website as part of the GraphAcademy, and I think in the trailer in the beginning we showed that you get a T-shirt if you complete the Neo4j certification, so that's a little incentive. But if you want to do that, how would you recommend somebody to prepare, or what can they expect from that course?
Really, it's a measure of experience with Neo4j, and the kind of this it's a way like a demonstration of your knowledge of Neo4j. So you'll join a community of over 100,000 people that we have that are certified on Neo4j. And you're kind of showing that you're up to date with the latest technology. So it tests you on a wide range of things.
And it looks like we lost him again. So this is this is going to be the theme of this show is how, where's Adam? is he online or not? So it's sorry again for that. So if you're watching this now, we're trying to get Adam back. I think in the past he was rejoining pretty quickly, but obviously it's not really favorable for us today. So here he is again. Hi, Adam. Welcome back. I don't know what's going on.
I apologize to anybody that's watching. I promise I haven't moved to the wilderness. I've moved to the other side of the main road. I'm not in the middle of nowhere, but apparently that's what my internet connection is saying.
At some of the days, sometimes it is for some reason not really cooperating. But yeah. So maybe to complete the thoughts on certification. So you were saying that it is a great way to showcase that you are knowledgeable in a technology that is very modern and up to date. But also, how would you think, or how would you recommend people to prepare if they say, okay, now I think I could take on that certification? Is that something is there a path basically that you would recommend of saying, hey, you should have done these, or you should have done maybe a couple of courses, or maybe you should have some experience somewhere, and then this is best prepared?
Yeah, definitely. So I've just shared my screen. Hopefully that works. So the certification, if you take it now compared to a couple of years ago, it'll look different. So I think it's around about maybe June time last year, I want to say, we migrated the certification from a third-party provider into the GraphAcademy platform itself. And with doing that, it gave us the opportunity to completely rewrite the question bank. So now I can say that everything in the Certified Professional exam teaches is something that tests you on questions that are taught inside the GraphAcademy platform. So what we did when we moved it over. So again, I'm going to scroll down to the T-shirt just so anyone can see this lovely T-shirt design. But what we did is put together a list of prerequisite courses. So you don't have to take these courses, but it will test you on content of each one of these courses. So if you were to take these from start to finish, then you should be getting 100% or a high number there.
Cool. That is very helpful, and I share the link to this page in the chat. It is also in the video description. So if you want to, feel ready, or if you want to, share your knowledge, then do the course, or rather the exam on the certification. If you don't feel like quite so ready, then you can obviously do one of those other courses and prepare yourself. But
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the questions are actually contained in the course. So you get, so it's an hour-long exam. So it's a maximum of an hour. The record is 17 minutes. If you want to try and try and beat that. But yeah, so you get so questions which are tiered by both by the kind of group of question and the experience level. So you start off with easier questions and they get harder as you go through. So we have general questions about things like what is a node, what is a relationship, graph theory, and things like that. We have questions on schemas, so the kind of graph schemas. How are they built? What does it consist of? What do you how would you model these certain concepts in a graph? Importing data, so questions on how to import data into Neo4j, and then questions about the drivers and how the drivers work. So here I've got the prerequisite of the using Neo4j with Python course. So Python is probably our most popular driver at the moment. It's definitely our most popular course, which details a driver. But hopefully, if you have if you use another programming language, hopefully you can translate the concepts from that driver course into Python, because it's pseudocode essentially. So that hopefully it's easy to understand.
Cool. And a follow-up question to the certification, also from Tyler, is there any evidence, or what evidence is there from industry that this certification adds value? So is there some kind of, he asks what are intrinsic factors that he could leverage when encouraging students to enroll in the GraphAcademy?
So I suppose anecdotally, I get emails on a if not a daily basis, then a weekly basis, that are asking me to verify the skills of somebody. And it's somebody has applied to a job, they've listed Neo4j as their skill. Can you actually verify that? So from our point of view, we can tell if somebody has passed this exam, either they've mastered Gen AI, in which case hire them, or they've got a certificate that allows them, or that demonstrates that they passed the course, in which case they know Neo4j and are able to build solutions on top of Neo4j. So I would say that it's not only a nice thing that kind of goes on your LinkedIn profile. Once you get your certificate, you can share it to LinkedIn and other places. But also, recruiters are actively contacting us about people who have said that they've passed the Certified Professional exam.
Cool. Yeah, I think that's helpful, and as you said earlier, it is a very it becomes a more and more important technology around AI as well. So I think it is something people want to look out more and more, and I think we see that at Neo4j ourselves, how the interest goes up, and more people are looking at building things with graph. So I think that is definitely a clear encouragement to go into that direction, and to be able to prove that you know what you're talking about, and that you understands the concepts. I think is very important, and that is a helpful thing for any job and any application you're going for.
Yeah, definitely. I'd also say again, like anecdotally, when We've got a new starter joining GraphAcademy next month. The first thing I asked them in the interview was, have you used Neo4j before? And not only have they used Neo4j, not only have they been to GraphAcademy, but they actually said, actually, no, this is my certificate. So if somebody is hiring for a Neo4j job, and there are lots of jobs on the Discord channel, what you see, if you apply to that with the cover letter being a picture of your certification, then instantly you're going to stand out from everybody else. I would like to work for company X because like it actually it kind of like elevates your application and shows that you know the technologies that you're that you're applying for. So I suppose otherwise it's just a case of it's almost word soup. Like, okay, so all these frameworks and programming languages and some may even be made up and generated by Gen AI. But I think it's definitely a good way to prove that you know what you're doing.
Yeah. And I don't know if I should be saying this or not, but I'm just saying it now. I mean, there have been efforts to standardize the graph query language. So GQL is an official standard now since a year ago. So if you are worried about being maybe too locked into a Neo4j ecosystem, you know there is always a way that you can use your knowledge with another graph database. But because Cypher and the graph query language GQL is so close, it is, once you learn it here, you can, if you want to. I mean, why should you? But really, I mean, the others will be inferior. But you can go and take your knowledge to use another graph database or another graph storage. So you could, you won't be locked in as much anymore if that is a worry.
Yep. Yeah, definitely. I suppose like the either through GQL or OpenCypher, the skills that you learn through GraphAcademy and with Neo4j can be transferred to other databases as well.
Yeah. Cool. I think I don't see any other question. There is a poll in the community forum, so I'll share that link. So it is kind of like asking for, where are you in your certification journey? Where are you going with that? Our colleague Ari is giving out beanies. So if you are ready to share where you are, if you have been completing your GraphAcademy certification recently, you can, I think, roll in there and see if you can get one of those beanies, which we are handing out to everybody that is, already certified or is about to be certified within the next couple of weeks. So take that opportunity and check that out. If you are interested in what's happening next around our certification activities this month, I have collected them here in a handy little slide. So what we did today is been just the beginning. We do a Neo4j fundamentals workshop with Martin next week. There will be another AMA with Sid on specifically on Gen AI and how to work with Neo4j on the 23rd. And Jennifer will dive into how to pass the Neo4j certification exam. So she will get us a little bit more hands-on and concrete into going there. So if you, between now and then, maybe if you have some question, if you are about to get your certification done, maybe you can join that session on the 25th towards the end of the month and help get over the finish line basically and completing that certification by end of the month, or at least feel as ready as you can to give it a shot. And I think we didn't say this, but I mean the certification is not you can always retry, right? I mean the point is not that you get, have a one shot and then if you fail it then you cannot try it again. You have a second, third, fourth time to try it. So it's a bit frustrating. So understandably, maybe go back a little bit and learn do some other courses, but you can definitely try it again. And if you want some maybe first-hand information about how and what to do there, or some other question, then Jennifer will help you out on that.
Yeah, I would say as well that if you do take the exam and then you don't pass for whatever reason, when you go back to the course page or the certification page, you get a summary of all of your answers, what you gave, what the correct answer was, and also it gives you a link through to the course and the lesson where you can learn more information, or even like links to the documentation to where to learn more. So it's definitely like valuable as well. Don't be afraid to take it, even if you don't think you're there. Yeah, because it's all just part of a learning experience, and trying and failing is all part of learning.
Yeah, I think it's a great, and then you great insight. You will see where your gaps are easily, and then you can maybe do another course and fill those and try it again.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, like I said, I think that rounds us out for today. Again, thank you very much, Adam, and team for building a GraphAcademy, for adding these courses all the time, adding new features, adding new capabilities, but also updating courses. I'm not envying you around GenAI, obviously, all these new high hyped tools. Which one should become a course and which one is just a little too much hype?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a fun challenge. My only comment on that would be, if only I could use GenAI to generate the courses, because I've tried this, and again, when I saw the Yuri's question about I think it's to David, like, are you generating questions via LangChain? At first I thought that was like a question for me, and I did try this. I tried to generate the questions for the certification with LangChain, really, with GenAI. And I ended up getting about 50 questions on the range index, and there was so many like duplicate questions, and it was an absolute failure. So I try and do like at least one GenAI experiment every week, and that was one. I think it was a while ago now. I think it was earlier on in the early models, but I absolutely failed. And I've found that every time I've tried to generate content with GenAI around a course, around like any sort of education, it's nigh on impossible. It just doesn't work. So all of the content that we have on GraphAcademy is human written content, because you just can't do it any other way. But yeah, again, it's like, it's drink on our own champagne, right? It's we're working out what is actually useful for us, and also being realistic about things like generative AI, because there's a lot of hype, and again, like I suppose, like there's the kind of two schools of thoughts are, this is amazing, it does absolutely everything you want it to do, and then there's this is absolutely useless, it hallucinates, it doesn't do anything you want it to do. And there's this kind of like voice that's popping up now, which I think is I think I'd resonate a lot with, where it's like, okay, so like stop calling it a next word generator, because it's more than that. It's not going to change the world in its current state. It's not going to change the world, but actually it's useful. Like, so today on my lunch break, I went to a hardware store, and I used it to generate me a shopping list and a set of instructions to do some DIY in the house. Like that. Okay. That is amazing.
Yeah, that is really cool. Yes,
but it's. I mean, maybe I've just got a trunk load of nails and glue for no reason. But like, it might hallucinate the solution. But it is amazing what you can do, as long as you don't rely on it, I suppose. But yeah, I mean, I could talk about that for hours.
Yeah, no, I think yeah, spot on. I think that's totally true. And you need to add that pinch of salt to everything that there is around that. But you know, it can make lives easier. It can generate a lot of cool things. So, but you I don't think, like you said, I haven't seen something that is really, yeah, okay, this will change it forever now. This will make a complete difference. But it's steps and steps and improves, and yeah, it gets there.
Yep. Yeah, for sure.
Super. Yeah, I think that was a very interesting conversation. Thank you very much for participating in this AMA today. Thank you for your questions. If you watch this live, thank you for hanging out with us today. Like I said, there are a couple of other events planned across the couple of weeks that for June. Yeah, hope to see you there. Join the community, join the Discord server for interactive interaction with the team or with other users. Yeah, we'd like to hear from you what you think of these episodes. Have a good rest of your day, and see you soon around.
Bye.
Bye.